You guys should be able to hear me now. There we go. All right. Thank you, Don. My bad. I had to fix that real quick. But guys, thank you guys for joining me on the Monday Night Raw review. Oh man. The reason why I'm excited is because I'm watching the Bucks game right now. You guys know I'm a big Tom Brady fan, and they just scored. They just scored, so I'm going to have the Monday Night Football game in the background during the review. And like I said, Monday Night Football tonight was better than anything we saw on Monday Night Raw. This show had... I don't even know what to say about this show tonight. Really, there was some really good... I'm not going to lie, there was a lot of really good in-ring action. You know, that's the positive I would give Monday Night Raw tonight. Lots of good in-ring action. You had Keith Lee versus Bobby Lashley, Randy Orton and AJ Styles, Matt Riddle and Sheamus, right? The New Day versus the Hurt Business. There was a lot of good in-ring action. So I'm not going to say this show was terrible, but I will say this show was boring. This was a boring edition of Monday Night Raw, right? And I got, like I said, if you guys hear football in the background, it's because I got the Bucks game going on. The Rams are driving with about 4 minutes left, and they're trying to win the game. We'll see. It's a tie game. But like I said, Monday Night Raw was just boring. There was a lot of good in-ring action. So, and for that good in-ring action, I can't say this was a terrible show, but it wasn't anything special. There's really nothing coming out of this for us to really talk about. You know, the whole theme was they're trying to set up who's the next contender for Drew McIntyre and his WWE Championship. I don't even think Drew McIntyre was on the show tonight. I may have missed it, but I don't remember him being on the show at all. But you know, there wasn't anything really happening, nothing. And you know, we have the fallout of Survivor Series, and I said this yesterday. The day after Survivor Series, there's not going to be much to talk about because there was no stakes with Survivor Series. I said this on the road to Survivor Series. I said it on the Survivor Series review, and I'm saying it one more time tonight. There was no stakes with Survivor Series this year. So honestly, why should we care? Why should we honestly care? Right? There's nothing that happened on Survivor Series meant anything for the show tonight. Nothing. So that was just the vibe I was getting from Monday Night Raw tonight. And, you know, Rams have the ball 3rd and 1. Can the Bucks stop them? Can they stop them? Ooh, he got the Cooper Cup. Solid. Now they're in field goal position. Ooh. Anyway, but that's just my vibe coming out of it. But either way, we are going to review this show like we always do. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on the podcast tonight. As always, if you guys are new to the channel, hit that like button and subscribe if you guys are new. I have a new layout that's going to be coming probably for next Monday Night Raw's review. My boy SariX is working right now, so this will most likely be the last time you guys have to look at this layout. But either way, thank you guys so very much. For those of you guys who joined us for the Survivor Series review last night, thank you guys. The pay-per-view review always seemed to do well on the channel. And also, you know, if you guys haven't checked out the Survivor Series review yet, go check it out. Go check it out, man. One of the best podcasts of the year. My pay-per-view reviews are always the best, man. We talked about Undertaker's farewell, Sasha Banks retiring. Sasha Banks retiring, please. I would cry if that was happening. Sasha Banks versus Asuka, Undertaker retiring in his final farewell, Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre, the New Day versus the Street Profits, all that. So go check that out if you guys haven't already. But we're going to get into Monday Night Raw tonight. Not much of a shoot for me, really. There was really nothing for me to shoot on. The show wasn't terrible, but it just wasn't anything really that good. You know, I found Raw just to be boring. No real storylines to come out of it. It was more just about, you know, trying to figure out who's going to be the next contender for the WWE Championship. That was really it. Really it. But, like I said, I'm paying attention to the Bucks game as well, so it's about to be 3rd down. Hopefully the Bucks can stop them and hold them to a field goal and give Brady the ball one more time. But the show started off with a celebration for Team Raw. And one of the shocking things that came out of Survivor Series last night, we saw that the men's Survivor Series team absolutely swept through the SmackDown team. All right, going into the show, we knew that Raw was most likely going to win, but we didn't expect a sweep. All right, and a lot of people are reacting. I think I said this on the podcast last night that the women's Survivor Series match was actually better than the men's Survivor Series match. All right, 3rd and 8. They're trying to run it. Stop them. There we go. That's a stop. So the Bucks hold the Rams to a field goal attempt. So, Brady will be getting the ball one more time. Let's get it. I'm hyped. All right, but anyway, Monday Night Raw did sweep SmackDown, and I said, I wish they had put this in play before Survivor Series because it would have gave us more of a reason to care. But Team Raw came out to open the show. The segment wasn't anything much, but Adam Pearce kicked off the show, suggesting that one member of the victorious Team Raw should get an opportunity for Drew McIntyre's WWE Championship. I believe, personally, all members should get a championship opportunity. It doesn't have to just be for the WWE title. It could be for Bobby Lashley's United States title, right? Because I feel like adding those kinds of stakes to these matches will make us care about them more. Come on, it's Survivor Series. If Adam Pearce came out a couple weeks ago and said, the winners of this match will be put in contention for a WWE Championship match, all right, it gives us a reason to care. Because we're going to see who's going to be the challenger for Drew McIntyre, right? But either way, you guys see that if they had added stakes, Survivor Series would have meant so much more. But, instead, the winners, only one person from the victorious team would get a WWE title opportunity. So it's whatever, this is what we got. Who cares? So Sheamus balked at the idea of AJ Styles being the leader of the team, so continuing that narrative from before Survivor Series. All right, they talked about Sheamus' history with Drew McIntyre, and I have been reading rumors that Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre is something that WWE wants to do at some point. Keith Lee reminded Styles that he also pinned Jey Uso, who was the team captain of SmackDown, to win the match, even though I don't remember when Jey Uso was named the captain, but I guess. And then Riddle just kept going on using the word dope, right? Strowman got mad because he was chosen as the last to state his case of why he should be getting a WWE title shot. He grabbed Adam Pearce by the collar, demanding that he should be chosen, and then he headbutted Adam Pearce to the mat. Nothing special here. The segment was very, very boring, I don't know. This was a boring segment. Over the road to Survivor Series, I guess, on the road to Survivor, I guess I enjoyed those interactions a little bit, right? It was kind of funny, the whole butting of heads and AJ Styles trying to band the team together, even though he's a heel, and he kept believing he was the captain, even though nobody on the team would want to acknowledge him as the captain. But that was funny on the road to Survivor Series. But now I'm over it. Let's move on. Let's separate these guys and actually get them into feuds and build them up and make Monday Night Raw actually watchable, right? I didn't really care about the Braun Strowman thing. So basically what happened is Adam Pearce announced, Tom Brady got the ball. And Brady got plenty of time. He got one timeout, and he got 2.5 minutes to get the team either a touchdown or get them in field goal position to go to overtime. Let's go, Brady. Let's go, Brady. Like I said, you guys get to watch the game with me. I know some of you guys watch Monday Night Football while you guys watch my reviews. Oh, man. Brady's just slicing and dicing. So now they're at the 2-minute warning. Let's go, Brady. Let's go. But anyway, moving on into it. This is actually this was one of the things I really liked. Like I said, there was a lot of good in-ring action on Monday Night Raw tonight. A lot of good in-ring action. We had, so basically the Hurt Business, they challenged the New Day to another Raw Tag Team title opportunity. These are, I believe, the only two teams in the division on Monday Night Raw at the moment, right? So WWE, you know what they do when they don't have tag teams. They just want to beat feuds to death. As good as the New Day and the Street Profits are, and as good as the New Day and the Hurt Business are feuding on Monday Night Raw, right? You keep doing the same match over and over again. It doesn't matter how good it's going to be. People are going to get tired of it, right? Because you just keep hammering it home. Like Sasha Banks and Asuka. Sasha Banks and Asuka, we've seen that match so many times. There's some people that don't want to see it again just because we've seen it so many times, even though they can't put a bad match together because they're the two best female wrestlers in the world. But this was set up, so there was a really good confrontation backstage. The New Day were planning to have the day off, right? They were just wearing normal clothes. They weren't even wearing ring attire. But Shelton Benjamin and the rest of the Hurt Business confronted them, saying that they wanted another opportunity, right? And the New Day should not be saying no because they couldn't get the job done against the Street Profits. But the New Day countered saying, oh, you couldn't get the job done against us last week, so why should we give you another opportunity? But so Cedric Alexander got in Xavier's face and basically baited him, right? So I really like the energy Cedric was, showing on display in this segment. He's like, man, I'm tired of sitting in the back, watching you lose to the Street Profits when I should be in that opportunity. So you're going to give me a title opportunity whether you like it or not. I really like that energy from Cedric Alexander. He's really grown on me since joining the Hurt Business. I'm really happy for him. And then, the rest of the Hurt Business, they were just keeping Kofi back, like, stay out of this. Even though that's Xavier's partner, right? So then Xavier accepted the match, and we got the match. So basically, we got a double count out finish here when Kingston and Alexander were fighting on the floor. They weren't able to get back into the ring in time, so we got a double count out. So then a bunch of confusion, right? The New Day were about to leave, but the Hurt Business were like, come back, right? You don't want to. Aren't you guys supposed to be prideful champions? Don't be cowards, man. Let's end this the way we should, fairly in the ring. So, all right. So then we got the match restarted. And then the match was really good, man. Cedric was had some really good submission holds on Xavier's leg, right? This looked really well. Kofi delivered an SOS for a near fall. Alexander delivered a cheap chop block, trapped him in a leg lock. Kingston broke free and finally made the hot tag. He made the hot tag to Woods. Then he did his normal comeback. Then he got a lot of close falls, and then Woods survived an angle slam from Benjamin. Did a sunset flip bomb roll up for the win. So the New Day defeat the Hurt Business again. Look, I said before Survivor Series we should be getting this feud, right? Brady went deep, and Brady just threw a pick. Oh. Okay. So, looks like the Bucks are about to lose. Brady just threw a pick. That's sad. I don't know why Brady went deep, but Bucks are about to lose. Dang, that's on Brady. That's on Brady, man. You can't make that throw, bro. Come on. Either way, back to it. So, I've been saying that, we should be getting the New Day versus the Hurt Business. These two teams are really good, and I don't have a problem with them feuding. I don't. My problem is that WWE is doing too many matches with these two teams in successive weeks. Way too many matches, right? We just saw the New Day versus the Hurt Business, 2 weeks ago before Survivor Series. Then we had a title match just last week, and then we had another title match tonight. We actually had two matches between this team tonight. Because remember, we had the double count out, and then we had the match restarted. I said they should probably have this feud go into TLC, and then I would not be mad with the Hurt Business, winning the tag team titles and having the New Day chase them going into 2021. But now, especially what you did tonight, you had the New Day defeat the Hurt Business 3 times in the last 2 weeks. The feud should be over. I'm not going to sit here and say I want to see this feud go into TLC just because. It shouldn't. I'm sorry, it shouldn't. When you do what you did tonight, that should be the end of the feud. The Hurt Business have lost 2 weeks in a row, and that should be that. It's pretty simple at the end of the day. All right, but WWE, they'll probably do this feud again. They'll do this match again just because they have nobody on Monday Night Raw. And it's one of the reasons why I keep complaining that they should be merging the tag team divisions. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. It is what it is. I'll be here to remind you guys that, they should not be doing this anymore. But, we know how WWE is. We know how WWE is, man. It's disappointing. It really is. The WWE has all the talent to have a really good tag team division, but they just keep making mistakes, right? Breaking up tag teams, releasing tag teams, teams getting injured. It's just, it is what it is. All right, Brady might get the ball back. All right, so Brady is going to get the ball back, but he's not going to have any time on the clock. He's going to have 10 seconds if he's lucky. I don't know. Maybe we'll have a miracle in Tampa. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, but moving on from that, right? Moving on from the Raw Tag Team Division, we had our first singles match of the night. That would be determine who would be in the triple threat next week to determine who would be Drew McIntyre's challenger for the WWE title, most likely at TLC. We had Matt Riddle versus Sheamus. Remember, we saw this match a couple weeks ago. It was a qualifying match to see who would be on the Men's Survivor Series team for Monday Night Raw. And we had Sheamus actually defeat Matt Riddle in a really good contest. This match, tonight, they ran it back. This was better than the match we saw a couple weeks ago. And I got to give credit. I got to give credit to these two, man. They, for some reason, Matt Riddle and Sheamus have fantastic chemistry together, right? They're both really good in the ring, but they work really well. You know, Sheamus brings the power. Matt Riddle brings that technician, speed, and it works really well. It works really well. So what? Why did he run it back? What the hell? Why did he run it back? He should have just fair caught it and then give Brady one chance to at least throw a freaking Hail Mary. So Brady and the Bucks lose. Yeah, but at least they're 7-4. Right, they're 7-4, and it is what it is. It is what it is. I still think the Bucks are one of the best teams in the NFC because the Packers and the Seahawks aren't doing that well. There's really no good team in the NFC. Really, there's no favorite at least. Anyway, now that the game's over, we can focus on Monday Night Raw. Plus, I win my fantasy football matchup. Anyway, so like I said, Matt Riddle and Sheamus have really good chemistry together. Right. So Riddle turned the tide in his favor when he did an exploder suplex. Then he followed with the Broton back inside the square circle. Sheamus recovered, did the Irish Curse backbreaker. So then Riddle answered with a bunch of kicks to the chest and the body. And the thing is, Sheamus and Riddle were hitting each other so hard, you could see the redness on each other's chest. So Sheamus then rocked him to take control coming back into the commercial. Riddle delivered the floating blow on the outside. Sheamus did the cloverleaf submission. Riddle fought out, but then he got trapped into a heel hook. So Sheamus came out with some really good submissions. Remember, Sheamus is not a technician specialist. He's more of a powerhouse, but I love seeing him do submissions, you know, showing he has that wrestling pedigree. So Riddle did a final flash knee to the face, and Sheamus kicked out at 2.5. Then fighting to the ropes, Sheamus delivered a white noise for another close 2 count, and you can see these two were getting really tired. Then there was a bunch of late match roll-ups between the two, and then Riddle was able. This was very similar to Sasha Banks and Asuka, how their great match ended last night's Survivor Series. Riddle won with a victory roll, and he gets the upset. So Sheamus was angry. You know, I could definitely see these two having a third match. They've had 2 really good matches. All right, I don't think Matt Riddle's going to win the triple threat next week, right? If he does, I'll be very happy for him. I want to see him succeed, but I don't see him winning it. I could definitely see maybe potentially Sheamus being petty, right, and getting involved and costing Matt Riddle the win, and then maybe at TLC or the week after, we might get one more match, you know, a third match between Sheamus and Riddle to finish this little mini feud off, right? But either way, really good matches. Really good stuff here from Sheamus and Riddle. Next up, we had a Firefly Funhouse segment. We had Alexa Bliss, right, and the Fiend. I love these Firefly Funhouse segments. I've been saying it for weeks now. Alexa Bliss and The Fiend are the two best things on Monday Night Raw. It's not Drew McIntyre. It's not Randy Orton. It's The Fiend and Alexa Bliss. Their interactions are really good, and the character work, especially from Alexa Bliss, has breathed new light. For years, I complained about Alexa Bliss's how you want to call it, her sparkle gimmick. I don't even know how to call it. The goddess, yeah, her goddess gimmick. But this Harley Quinn gimmick she's doing with The Fiend right now is absolutely spectacular, right? She's doing the best work of her career, and I've been saying Asuka's been needing an opponent for months. She hasn't had a legit feud since Sasha Banks and Zelina Vega. I sound like a broken record. This is the things with the Monday Night Raw reviews. I end up saying the same shit every single week. Every single week, man, because that's what we get with Monday Night Raw. The same shit. The same shit. But I've been saying build up Alexa Bliss for a potential feud with Asuka. I feel like, if they want to be creative, they can make a good story out of that. They really can. But this week, with the Firefly Funhouse, the topic was friendship, right? Bray Wyatt again made references to Randy Orton burning down the Wyatt compound, and The Fiend then encouraged Alexa Bliss to dismantle her friendship with Nikki Cross. So then we saw a new character show up, this being the Friendship Frog, right? And, they did like a moment of silence, right, for because the Friendship Frog didn't survive very long, right? Alexa took her frustrations out on the frog, destroying him with a hammer, and then there was a moment of silence for the newly killed character. So Wyatt said it's a real shame he croaked, that's being the sound that a frog makes. And then he broke out into laughter, and then he said, "See you soon, Nikki." And that's how the segment ended. So, like I said, the chemistry here and the dark humor with Alexa Bliss and The Fiend, I really do like it. They're a match made in heaven, and hopefully they can continue building on it. I just don't want this duo to get to the point where they feel stale on WWE TV. And I feel like you guys would agree a lot with me on that, right? So I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit and talk about the match. So Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. So Alexa came out in that Harley Quinn attire, right? She's no longer wrestling in her normal goddess attire. She's wrestling in like a t-shirt with like a kitchen apron with her, her logo on it. And, I really love this look. I'm getting used to her new theme song, and, it's really good. So they did a video package, and I say this all the time. WWE is really good at video package. That's one of their greatest strengths, right? Really good at making video packages. So the video package recaptured the journey to get to this match. So basically recapturing, everything that happened with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. They were a tag team and best friends on WWE TV for well over a year. I don't think it was a year and a half, but it was close to a year. And, this was a personal match. It actually wasn't bad. This was actually pretty good. I thought going into it, it was going to be pretty boring, just because, I've hated how Nikki Cross has been portrayed on the main roster, right? Her new theme song is absolutely pitiful. It makes absolutely zero sense. But in this match, though, she showed a lot of signs of the old Nikki Cross, the Nikki Cross from Sanity. And I've been pitching, potentially, not now, but maybe down the line, right? Maybe they could get Alexa Bliss to join the Funhouse. I've been saying for like a year now, I would love to see Bray Wyatt have a collection, like his own faction in a way, right? When freaking Bo Dallas was still on the main roster, everyone was saying Bo Dallas, who is Bray Wyatt's brother, how great it would be for him to be inside the Funhouse, and now you have Alexa Bliss and you see how it's working out. If you want to recapture Nikki Cross and what made her so good in NXT, have her go back to that dark side, that crazy sadistic side that she actually has, that she doesn't get the chance to show a lot of the time on the main roster, and have her join The Fiend and Alexa Bliss in the Funhouse. I feel like that would be really cool. I just don't think WWE is creative enough to go and actually do something creative like that. But either way, in this match, Nikki was unloading weeks of frustration on it. I really love the aggressiveness. So Alexa Bliss, did a really good job selling her character here, like how she was not taking Cross seriously. She just kept, thinking this was all fun and games. But as Cross became more and more aggressive, right, you saw Alexa get a little more emotional. So then Alexa dropped to her knees near the end of the match, and she cried tears of confusion. I knew exactly where this was going. She was basically sucking Nikki Cross in. Alexa was saying, I don't know what's happening. What is happening to me? Like, help me, Nikki, help me. So she got up and tried to help Nikki for help. Nikki, being the dumbass babyface, right, as she fell for the trap and then embraced her former partner. But this was clearly just a ploy. Bliss dropped her with an STO. Tom Phillips said this was a modified Sister Abigail. But Bliss drops her with the STO and gets the win. And Alexa had a very unique pin combination. She did her little her little Miss Bliss taunt, and while she was on Cross's body. So, really good stuff here. So after the match, Cross was in disbelief while Alexa made her way up the ramp. So, like I said, the action was, decent, right? It wasn't an amazing match or anything. It was just more the storytelling, right? The relationship with Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss, Alexa's character doing a really good job of selling this, Harley Quinn character. And, Nikki Cross trying to beat it for her best friend, but being a dumb babyface, leading her to defeat in the end. So, where do we go from here? Like I said, I would continue building Alexa Bliss up. I really feel like you should do an Alexa Bliss and Asuka feud. I don't think Alexa Bliss should become the Raw Women's Champion. She doesn't need the championship or anything like that. But you need something for Asuka to do. Because Naomi's not there, Charlotte's not there, right? And the women's division on Raw is absolutely pitiful. It is pitiful, right? So that's what I would do. I don't know. WWE's been teasing a feud with Mia Yim and Asuka for weeks now, but I don't even think Retribution was on the show tonight. So I don't know. But either way, I gotta give credit where credit's due. Alexa Bliss, man. I said this last week. I never thought I would see the day where I would become an Alexa Bliss fan. But the work she is doing right now is spectacular, and she needs to keep it up. I really love what she's doing. Hopefully, WWE can find ways to keep these segments fresh, so we don't get sick and tired of it, right? So the gimmick between Bliss and Fiend doesn't get stale, because this is something that can go a long time if WWE is smart with it. They work so well together, but we'll see. JDE says, I actually think it would be more interesting if Nikki would fight her with Psycho Gimmick versus Alexa's Psycho Gimmick. I agree with you there, JDE, but the thing about it is, how do we get Nikki Cross into that psychotic mode? The way Nikki Cross is being presented on WWE TV right now, it's trash. Her theme song is garbage, right? She doesn't have that intense, aggressive nature that made her great in NXT. And, why should anybody care about Nikki Cross? Make us actually care about Nikki Cross if you want us to get that. Stop with the nonsense you're pulling with Nikki Cross right now. I really hope that somebody from WWE watches this or something and just learns that, hey, man, Nikki Cross can be a really valuable player in our women's division if used correctly, right? Just come on. If Triple H was on the main roster, he would make Nikki Cross turn back into the Psycho gimmick she had in NXT in a second. It's just that it shows how out of touch Vince actually is, right? You said, JD says, Alexa could eventually push her over the edge. Maybe, but, Alexa doesn't need to care about Nikki. It's Nikki that's pushing this on, right? Nikki's the one that tries every single week to get Alexa Bliss to turn away from the Fiend. Alexa's already, I guess you could say, she's already accepted the new her, right? So, I don't know why, but we'll see. But good stuff here. Like I said, keep building Bliss up, hopefully for a feud with Asuka. Moving on, now going back, we had Asuka versus Lana. right? So basically, Lana was interviewed by Charlie Caruso backstage. Charlie Caruso came up with the idea that maybe Lana should, get a Raw Women's Championship match because she's the sole survivor. I'm not going to complain anymore about what happened at Survivor Series. If you guys haven't seen the Survivor Series review, go check it out. It's live on the channel. I went pretty hard complaining about the ending of that match. They had a chance to make a new star with Bianca Belair, and they didn't do it. And that's WWE's fault, man. Once again, another example of how out of touch Vince is. That should have been the moment where Bianca Belair became one of the biggest stars in the women's division. And it's made her statement saying, I am here. I'm here. I'm taking the torch. I'm not having it passed down to me. I'm taking it by force. But they chose to do that BS ending just for Lana, who's not that good in the ring. And no one really gives a shit about. They keep trying to push Lana as a babyface, but why should we care? Where is this gonna go? Where is this gonna end up? Where is this leading to? Why should we care? Why should we care? But after lucking her way into the Survivor match, right? So Asuka confronted Lana backstage and congratulated her on her victory and says, you want to challenge me for the Raw Women's Championship, right? And Lana said, no, you're a great champion. No, I don't deserve a match against you. But Asuka was like, no, I want competition, so I'll see you in the ring tonight. So basically, Asuka, basically choosing to defend her Raw Women's Championship, right? Lana never accepted the match. It was basically Asuka made the challenge herself. I guess the way they explained this is Asuka wanted to defend her title tonight because she was unhappy because she lost to Sasha Banks, which was a great match at Survivor Series on Sunday. So Asuka wanted to try to get a victory under her belt, to get back to her winning ways. So I guess. So, all right. So the match never started, and I'm kind of glad because the match would have been any good. We just saw Asuka versus Lana a couple weeks ago before Survivor Series, and the match wasn't good then. So there's no reason to believe that Lana's improved since then, so that we would get a match better now, right? So before the match could begin, Nia and Shayna came out. I puked in disgust at the sight of Nia Jax because he's disgusting. So basically, Asuka threw water at Nia and Shayna at ringside, and then she got attacked by the two heels, right? So that caused disqualification. So the match, never happened. So then Nia went to put Asuka on in the Samoan drop position, through the announce table, but Lana saved her. So logic gap here for the last 9 weeks, right? The last 9 weeks that Nia Jax has put Lana through a table. No one saved Lana. Not Mandy Rose, not Dana Brooke, not even Asuka. And there were instances where all those superstars were at ringside watching Nia put Lana through a table. But now, Lana, being a babyface, she actually saves Asuka from being put through a table. So, yeah. So I guess for once, the streak is over. The streak is over, right? And after 9 weeks, this was the first time in 2.5 months where Lana was not put through a table on an episode of Monday Night Raw. So the streak is over for right now, right? The streak is over for at least now. I wouldn't be surprised if WWE starts a new streak and makes it twice as long because WWE is that petty. But after Lana saved Asuka, we got a tag team match. The match wasn't anything special. It was mostly Shayna and Nia taking turns beating up on beating up on Lana, right? Asuka got the hot tag. Asuka delivered a code breaker to Baszler, then did a hip attack in the corner, and with a German suplex. Then Jax attempted to put Lana through the announce table, but Lana was actually able to dodge it. And then she was actually able to force Nia to rush over the table, spilling there. I don't know why WWE refuses to let Nia be pinned. It pisses me off, really. She never gets pinned, but she's not good in the ring. She either gets counted out or disqualified, or they do something to protect her. I don't know why. She's not good. She's not good in the ring at all, but for some reason, they want to protect Nia. Oh my gosh, it pisses me off. But we see after Nia rushes over the table, Baszler tried to put Lana in the character clutch to the ropes, but Asuka saw this and was able to take advantage by getting the pinfall roll-up victory. So they get the win here. Asuka and Lana win. The streak's over, but I would not be surprised if Lana gets through the table next week. I would not be surprised because we all know WWE. We all know WWE. This is the way they are. But nothing special. Next up, we had Keith Lee versus Bobby Lashley. I said this on Survivor Series. This is a feud I would love to see. Two very big, hard hitters. Two men that I really enjoy their in-ring work. Right? This is kind of a dream match for some. But for some reason, this was disappointing. It didn't hit all the gaps. It wasn't terrible or anything. But this match could have been so much more. So, the winner of this match, of course, would be the second person added to the triple threat match for the number one contender match next week. So, the big man locked up. They engaged in a test of strength for the first part of this match. So, Lashley put Lee down with a flatliner. And Lashley kept trying to put Keith Lee in the hurt lock. But he couldn't do it. I also got to mention, right, I am so happy that they changed Keith Lee's theme song. I said on the Survivor Series podcast, but man, it really makes me happy that Keith Lee got his theme song changed. That's a blessing. So, Lee fought out, he got distracted by MVP, right? Lashley rocked Lee at ringside and got sent face first into the ring post heading to the commercial. We come back, the almighty grounded Lee, trying to take away his raw power, but then he delivered a big suplex, tried going for the hurt lock, but Lee once again fought out. Lee leapfrogged Lashley, sending Lashley into the middle turnbuckle. So then he did a crossbody on the floor, which looked really good. Then on the floor, MVP sent Lee into the ring post when the official wasn't looking. Then Lashley finally was able to get the hurt lock out in, but Keith Lee fought out of it. So after Keith Lee clotheslined the hell out of Lashley, Lashley was down and looked like I think he was bleeding from like a cheek or something. There was some blood on his face. MVP saw that Lashley was in trouble and he got into the ring to attack Lee, causing the disqualification, and Lee gets the win. Clearly, Lashley has only been pinned a couple times all year, and that was mainly against Drew McIntyre when they feuded earlier in the year. And Lee, they're clearly trying to protect both men, right? So the finish makes sense. But I know, and I feel like you guys will agree with me when I say this, Lee and Lashley could have had a far better match. Far better match. These are two workhorses, right? We all want to see Lashley versus Lesnar or Keith Lee versus Brock Lesnar. Those are two potential matches I think we could see at WrestleMania this year. But I feel like these two, as good as they are, they could have had a far better match tonight. It wasn't terrible or anything like that. There was just something off. I feel like maybe it was because the chemistry's not there. This is the first time these two have ever, had a match together. But I could easily see Keith Lee not winning the number one contenders match next week, all right? And then that leading to maybe Keith Lee feuding with Bobby Lashley, right? They could easily continue this. I said this last night. It's time to start building up the mid-card titles again. Sami Zayn and Lashley on their respective brands have had no real competition for the last couple months. And that's disappointing. It's time to actually build those titles back up. They're the workhorse titles for a reason. So if Lee doesn't win the number one contenders match, I could definitely see him or Matt Riddle, right, feuding with Bobby Lashley over the United States title, which I'm not against. Those are two matches I have no problem seeing going to TLC. I could definitely see maybe WWE doing a tables match with Lee and Lashley, right? A battle of power. I think that should be the match right there. Keith Lee versus Lashley at TLC in a tables match. I'm not a big fan of gimmick pay-per-views, but since TLC is not going to get changed, hey, there you have it. But I would not mind that really, based on what we're having. But last but not least, we had the Undertaker. It looks like we're going to end the podcast a little bit early tonight. But we had The Undertaker. They showed a long video package, mostly the same thing they showed at Survivor Series, but they also added what happened with The Undertaker. And I did read, I will note this, since it looks like, we're going to be almost done a little bit early tonight. Like I said, there was not much that happened on the show. It was mainly a lot of in-ring action. Remember, there was no Drew McIntyre on the show. There was no Retribution, right? I don't even think the 24/7 title was used on the show. Even though, actually it was. It was used in a freaking WWE Shop commercial, but who cares? We don't really need to talk about that. But they showed The Undertaker's farewell from Survivor Series, and I read a report that Vince McMahon, they had cameras, and they're saving this footage for a WWE documentary going forward. Maybe these Survivor Series behind the scenes, right? But there was a moment last night where Vince finally let go of The Undertaker. Because the reason why The Undertaker has come back so many times is mainly because of Vince. Undertaker, yeah, he came back because he loves the business and he wants to prove that he can keep doing it at his age. But The Undertaker is Vince's greatest creation outside of WrestleMania. And he's never truly wanted to let go of it. But I read that there was a moment last night where Vince finally let go of that character. And I cannot wait to see it, man. Really. I want Vince to be out of power, but definitely seeing something like that. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. But let me know. Let me know in the chat, guys, or in the comment section, man. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of all that right there? Anyway. Other than that, for the main event, we had AJ Styles versus Randy Orton. This was a good match. Remember, we've seen these two face off multiple times in the past. They had a really good match at WrestleMania a couple years back. Plus, they feuded on Monday Night Raw, I think, last year when Randy Orton was still a babyface. So this would determine who would be the third and final man in the number one contenders match next week, right? And it kind of made sense. You kind of knew AJ Styles was going to win because Randy Orton, no one wants to see Orton versus McIntyre again. And I said this last week on the podcast, I'm very disappointed. They should have never put the title on Randy Orton if they were going to get the title right back to Drew McIntyre. It was a waste of time. And I hate when WWE does those hot potato, title changes. It baffles me. I really hate when they do those. It's like, really? Really? That's what we're doing? But basically, AJ had his bodyguard at ringside. All right, Orton was still mad, a little bit fuming. He wasn't on the Survivor Series card. Plus, he was still mad about losing the WWE title to Drew last week. So he had a lot of aggression going into this match. Plus, I was waiting for the Fiend to show up, which he did. And that was the main reason why I knew Styles was most likely going to win this. So Styles used Orton's early aggression against him, right? Orton had his leg worked over throughout most of the match because of a brutal shinlock from Styles going to commercial. So we came back. Styles put Orton in the calf crusher. Orton made to the ropes by using his fingertips, right? Barely getting over there. Styles delivers an enziguri, rocking Orton. Then they started fighting on the outside of the ring, but then all of a sudden you see the Thunderdome change colors and the Fiend's music starts to play. And you've seen the Fiend, he appears over the barricade, but then he disappears, right? So it caught Orton off guard, and it led to Orton delivering a draping DDT, but then the Fiend showed up once again, startling Orton for a second time, and this allowed AJ to finally hit the phenomenal forearm for the victory, advancing to the triple threat match next week. So Styles, Keith Lee, Matt Riddle will battle in a triple threat next week to determine the number one contender for Drew McIntyre's WWE Championship. Clearly, they're going to continue the feud with Randy Orton and The Fiend now, especially now that there's no WWE Championship on the line, since Orton's no longer champion. I guess, you know, it makes sense. It's whatever. But nothing. I'm not that excited for it, right? It's the Fiend and Orton. We've seen it before, so we'll see if the story can make us care about it. But that is the direction they are going in. Finally, before we get out of here, triple threat match. Who's gonna win? Who is going to win? Keith Lee, Styles, Riddle. I think the least likely to win the match is Matt Riddle, right? Not disrespecting him. If he gets the win, that's great. That's great for him, right? Being on a big stage, getting a WWE title shot this early in his main roster run, that would be fantastic for him. Keith Lee versus Drew McIntyre. I feel like that's a potential WrestleMania match. If you are planning on having Drew McIntyre hold that WWE Championship to WrestleMania, Keith Lee would be a perfect challenger if you're not going to do Keith Lee versus Brock Lesnar, right? So maybe we do get Lee versus McIntyre at TLC. I would not mind it, but I just don't think we're going to see it. I don't see it happening. I think the most likely is AJ Styles. AJ Styles versus Drew McIntyre. Even though we've seen the match before, we've never seen an AJ Styles versus Drew McIntyre feud. We've seen them fight. I think it was last year. I think it was right around the time Drew turned babyface. All right, but we've never seen them have a legit feud. Plus, I would love to see AJ Styles back in the WWE title picture. I love AJ Styles, man, and you know he can still put on classics with anybody. Honestly, I wouldn't even mind AJ Styles winning the WWE Championship again. I would not mind it. I love Styles that much. You guys know he's one of my favorites on the main roster, one of my favorite male competitors, right? I would definitely love a TLC match between AJ Styles and Drew McIntyre. Would be an absolute banger. McIntyre brings the power. Styles brings the technician and the airborne ability. I feel like they could put on a really good TLC match at TLC. So right now, my pick as of right now is AJ Styles to win the triple threat match. All right. I think Styles will most likely win, probably by doing either the phenomenal forearm or Styles class on Matt Riddle. I don't see Keith Lee getting pinned. I think Matt Riddle will be the one to take the pin. So from least to most likely, I have Matt Riddle as the least likely to win the match, Keith Lee in the middle, and I have AJ Styles as the most likely to win this. Right? Either way, no matter who wins the match, I'm not complaining. I like all three of these choices. I love Keith Lee and AJ Styles. I don't mind Matt Riddle at all. Whoever gets the win here, it's going to be a fantastic match at TLC against Drew McIntyre. Right? They'll probably have Drew McIntyre at ringside or something to congratulate the winner. But right now, my pick to be the number one contender for the WWE title at TLC is AJ Styles. Let me know in the comment section. Kevin asks, I'll answer this right before we leave. Kevin asks, what's next for Asuka at TLC? Like I said, I would build up Alexa Bliss. If I was in charge and if I was listening to this podcast, I was working for WWE, I would have Alexa Bliss be the one to challenge Asuka. I feel like they could have a really fun, wacky little story there. I wouldn't see Alexa Bliss winning the title, but still, like, Asuka needs a legit feud. All right. They've been teasing Reckoning, aka Mia Yim, but I don't know. All right. JD says Shayna Baszler. Yeah, we've been wanting We've been wanting an Asuka and Shayna Baszler match for a long time now. Will WWE ever give it to us? I don't know. But for right now, what I would do Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles for the WWE title, and I would do Alexa Bliss versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship, right? And I would do Bobby Lashley versus Keith Lee at TLC in a tables match for the United States title, and New Day, I guess they can have one last match with the Hurt Business. But other than that, that's about it. Let me know. Do you guys agree with that? That's what I would do for TLC on the Raw side of things, right? But let me know what you guys think of that. Other than that, guys, that's all I got for you guys on the podcast tonight. Thank you guys for joining me, right? If you guys haven't checked out the Survivor Series review, go check it out. It's live on the channel. It's a banger, like I always give you guys Also, leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed. It helps push the video out so we can educate more people in the community. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, hit the bell next to my name, FitzMonkTV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Follow me on social media, guys. Thank you guys for everything. I'll see y'all later, man. Have a great night. Stay safe and healthy, y'all. If I don't have another podcast, later this week, I don't plan on having another podcast until SmackDown on Friday. But if I don't see you guys for the rest of the week, man, have a happy Thanksgiving. Make sure to stay safe, man. It's still wild. I know we all want COVID to end, but don't do anything stupid, man. Stay safe. Spend time with your family if you're able to, man, and just have a good time. And let's just be thankful that this year is about to end, and hopefully, God willing, 2021 will be great for us all. Thank you guys for everything, man. I'll see y'all later. Have a great day, guys. Peace.